So using Photoshop, we're going to create a solution-based app. You're going to think of a problem that others face or yourself. And I want to challenge you to think about a problem that you yourself might not face, but others might. So one of the very first steps with a design process is empathy. And with empathy, we can understand what is the useful user experience for the audience that you're targeting. So empathy is really interesting that we insert that into design because it's also a life skill. So one thing about our van that was also a surprise to us is some of the criticism that we got for living not in a house. Criticisms where it had to do with being homeless, and a lot of people accused us of abusing our children in that way. Even though it gave them so many experiences, a lot of people just could not empathize with what we were doing and why we were doing it. But as a result, it really helped me understand the homeless in our area and really not assume that someone was victimized by homelessness, that it might actually be a choice, just like the same way we made that choice. In a lot of ways, that experience really helped us empathize with others. And while you're practicing that very first step, think about user experience as being an outlet for someone who is struggling with an issue, and you can give that solution to them. So while you're designing, think about your style guide, just like you did in another module, and build on that style guide using a bright color or a bold font or a bold message to show the action items. So when you're using user experience, those action items are the buttons that you're directing the audience to click on right away, or those are the things that you want them to see. So for example, the next button or the home button or take a picture, whatever the app concept might be, that bright element will help the users know what to click on. Another thing with user experience that's really helpful is to create every element of your app, especially within text, to look like a button. So although we're very used to having screens and they're flat and smooth, we still have this innate desire to click on an actual tangible button. So if you have categories of, say, you have a plant identifier app, if you have a category for a specific plant, you want to create an outline of that information on that plant into a size of a button. So that's really helpful for users to categorize what options they have. What can they click on, what can they not click on. In this module, we'll be creating a mobile app. So utilizing some of the skills that you've learned in other modules, we'll be creating a prototype for a mobile app design that solves a problem. So in this van, almost everything in here is very solution-based. In some ways, there are double solutions. It serves multiple purposes. So for example, the sink behind me is not only a sink, but it also has a cutting board on top that we take off and use when we're cutting vegetables. There are solar panels on top of the van that power the fans, and ironically, the heat from the sun cools the fridge for all day long. Fridge can keep at least 3 days worth of food for a family of 4 cold and ready, and we have the option of either cooking on a propane stove, or we have the option of plugging in and cooking on our stove here inside. So everything is a solution here. It's not just built to be pretty, it's completely functional. And just like mobile apps, you have to think about design outside of just what looks good, but how it serves others and how this app can be used by its users.